Man, welcome back, people. It's us, Cullen Jenkins, aka Big Jenks, aka the Doctor. The Doctor?
The night doctor.
The Night Doctor. The Night Doctor's back looking good. It's MP, man. It's been a while. Football season is done. I mean, it's getting ready to start back up. NBA's done. We got a new champion, which is crazy in itself. But before we go into that, man, how have you been, man? How's the summer treating you?
Our summer's going great. Just staying active, getting back active now that school's over with and I'm graduated. So now I'm
Man, look at you. You look smart. And daughter to the I think that was the thing that you wanted to do. You want to beat her to the punch and you were able to do it, man. So congratulations. That's a big accomplishment.
thank you.
Yeah, a lot of guys say it. Say how they told their mama that grandmother they were going to go get their degree, man, and you went out there and got it. And so, cousin, I just want to let you know, dude, that that's a big thing, and respect you for it. So, with that said, we're going to use that intelligence and prowess and get your ideas, and we're going to go into the chat room. Man, it's been crazy these last 24 hours. I think cuz that my team is the Lakers. And if you don't know, guys, it's one of those big secrets that ain't a secret, that is a secret. The Lakers are trading for the Washington Wizards for Russell Westbrook. Getting rid of my man Trez, getting rid of Kuzma, Caldwell Pope, and they're going to try this whole thing again. And uh, you tell me what you think first. Well, what are your thoughts on that? When you heard about it, did you go, "Here they go again"? Or you just like, this may work?
Yeah, it's more of here we go again for me. Hey, I think Russell Westbrook is a very hardworking, talented player, but you can't have too many Chiefs, in the village, and you know I don't I, I don't see how this one is going to end up well because Russell Westbrook has to have the ball in his hands a lot.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
he needs to take his shots. He needs to score. So uh, we'll see if he's able to adjust and if they can somehow figure out a way for them to coexist. Because now you're talking about LeBron, AD, and then Russell Westbrook. Coming in and can he take a back seat to both of them, and I don't know. I don't see it working out.
Well, you know what, and I see which path that you're going down. I sat down, obviously, as that big fan that I am, and I said, okay, what they're trying to do, if they're trying to match, and first of all, they need to get out of the West first, but they're trying to match up with the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, Brooklyn Nets out there, and with their big three, KD, Harden, and the Flatlander himself, Kyrie Irving. So, but they got to get out of the West first. We saw what Phoenix did, and from my perspective, the way that I see this thing working is that we know what happened last year between LeBron James and AD. They were out for 63 games. That's a lot of damn games. So I see them going, okay, if somebody goes down again, at least we have Mister double, triple double on our other side who can carry maybe something when one of these other guys goes out. Now, here's the thing that I have the problem with: who the hell they got to play with? They got rid of some of the best players on that team that got him there. And I know Montrez has to be pissed off because he did not sign up, to go somewhere else. He signed up to be a Laker to try to win a championship. So I look at that dynamic. I'm going to myself, I get it. I mean, have to look at numbers and age. I don't want to be that cat talking about age, but everyone's not LeBron, and we know this. And right now, we look at him. Uh, Russell's 32 years old. He is that triple double machine. But the point you made, which is a big point, he has to have the ball in his hand. So maybe this is the time that LeBron finally steps back, because what they were saying that last year, they wanted them to pick up another player who could take the pressure off of LeBron having to handle the ball all the time. And this might be the guy.
Yeah, I see where you're going with. Me personally, I don't see it. You make good
Yeah.
points with injuries, and you know with everybody being hurt. And I think the injury thing that's something that should be addressed in a separate segment. Why everybody's just getting hurt. Is it because of you know COVID? But even watching the whole playoffs this year, everybody was hurt. Every superstar and it shook up the whole playoffs scene. But
Right.
yeah, it is a good point if they get hurt. That you do have Westbrook that can come, step in and kind of take the lead. Um, yeah, LeBron. We'll see if he takes a back seat. You said everybody's not LeBron. Well, guess what? LeBron's not even LeBron anymore.
And that is because at some time it has to go down. Even if you eat that Tom Brady avocado ice cream, at some point the body breaks down. And then for you, uh, how did you know that it was time for you to walk away from the NFL?
Um, I always said that if I sat out a full year, that I would call it quits because the working out, the level of intensity in the workouts and the beating it takes on the body, I wasn't just going to keep doing it for nothing. And I was kind of able to hang around a little longer, because of my pass rush abilities. So, you know, able to be a role player, more so than being the every down player I was, at the top of my career. But yeah, you can definitely start to feel that the things that you used to be able to do, you just can't do it anymore, or you can't do it at the level that you used to be able to do it.
Well, the thing that I hear, and for some people who don't know, you played with the Green Bay Packers, played with the Philadelphia Eagles, the Redskins, the Giants. So yeah, your career, man, it went over the top. It was just something that, as a family member, we saw like, damn, little cuz, all right. I remember you being on the Pee Wee League weighing 90 pounds. Now here you are weighing 297 and in the league, and even more importantly, 16 seasons.
13.
13. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah, because that's not a lot. But a lot of players, and we talked about you being on Madden. You were a great player, man. Anytime you're raking in the 90s on Madden, that means you put in your work. But all the players, at one point, they say it ain't about September to January, it starts to get about when you go, yeah, this March through June thing. I'm not really up to going out here training like I used to. I want to play with my kids. I want to play with my wife. It's some other things you want to do. Where where I know the answer, but was family a part of that as well?
Um, it, it can be, the kids are getting older, being able to watch some of the sporting events and things as they got older, especially my oldest daughter. Yeah, that definitely does play a factor into it, especially, towards the end of your career if you start having to, move around and change teams a lot because, it could put a stress you know, on a family, on kids, if the kids are, especially if they're older and they're established in, one school, they got their friends, they got their sports teams that they're on, and you can't just keep moving them around. So then all of
Right.
a sudden you start moving around more, and then you're away more. So that can play a big factor in it, and you'll see it with players a lot of times when they start changing teams a whole lot. They'll call it quits.
Yeah, no, and they will. And someone who is not calling it quits, he's starting his new career, starting it with, I know people go like, dude, you just said you like the Lakers, but I'm from Detroit. So still concerned about what Detroit's doing. The draft was last night. Detroit took Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State University as their number one pick. Detroit been they ain't been shit in a minute. So this is gonna be one of these things. And the kid said the right things last night, but I'm looking at his stats, uh 27 games, he averaged 20 points a game, 6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 43.8 field goal percentage, three-pointers 40%, free throws 84. Man, he's a young guy, looks like he could be efficient, but you still live in that Michigan area, man. Is he that guy? Is he what they need to hopefully get into, hell, not even over the hump, at least on the hill?
You know, I liked what I heard and what I saw from him. Um, he said the right things as you mentioned. Uh, he talked a lot about grit, and referring to the bad boys and trying to bring some of that toughness back to Detroit. So, I like to hear that. I do think that, he can develop into that player for Detroit. Whether or not he's coming in and able to do it right off the jump, that remains to be seen. But I think that, given, 2 or 3 years, that he could definitely develop into that player.
Yeah, no, and the one thing that I know when I look at this, the NBA has to go back to being the NBA and giving players a chance. I mean, we're going to talk about some things a little later on about quarterbacks and sitting on the benches and things like that. But the one thing I see is the NBA puts so much pressure on these young guys, especially picks 1 through 10. They need to be Jesus today. They better touch a glass of water and turn it into wine as soon as they step on the court. But let's be honest, some of these kids, they're still 19 years old. Cade Cunningham, still 19, not even 20 years old yet. And now here he is, the number one pick. That is a lot of pressure. But what I saw through the playoffs and through the championship, that if you give these players enough time, they can be like a DeAndre Ayton, because he didn't look like he was going to be that number one pick. Then what we saw during this last NBA season, he seems like he finally got it together. A lot of people are saying it was Chris Paul, the whisperer in his ear, the point guard. Whatever it is, I don't care who you got to get to make a player get better. But like you said, you can develop. So giving these kids a little bit more time, I'm seeing it helping them.
Yeah, and that's what they need. It's the same with kind of football. You see it a lot in football with quarterbacks. They come in, these kids get thrust in right away, and they're expected to come in and just save the whole organization right off the bat, and it's unrealistic. You guys have been terrible for a while, and you've been that way for a reason. And then all the pressure gets put on one person just because they're a top pick. Like they're just going to come and turn the whole organization around overnight. And it's got to be something where when they're drafting these players like that, they're having a plan to build around them and make sure that they become successful, with the team.
Yeah. Hey, I had an idea, and I was thinking about it last night, because so many of these people, some of these general managers, 30 years old, some of them are 40 years old. We need to break out clips of Michael Jordan in his first 6 season, when Michael Jordan was just a scoring machine and the Bulls weren't winning. Just to remind people, even the best player that we ever think we saw in the world, it took him a while to get accustomed to playing. And even more importantly, we needed a coach. He needed some more players, not just a role player. He needed Scottie Pippen. He needed a Horace Grant. He needed a Dennis Rodman. So just putting one player in there, it ain't it. So if we show this film to these general managers and to these owners going, look at this. Oh, yeah, he scored 66 against Boston, but they still lost. Oh, yeah, the Pistons kicked that ass for a couple years. Give these people a chance to play, man. Stop being crazy about it.
Yep, and that's exactly what has happened.
Yeah. 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 They go, oh, yeah, he's good. He's the best player we've seen since sliced bread. And then they mess him up. And we know, even more importantly, man, that confidence is everything in sports. And a lot of these guys have had their hearts ripped out. And I'm sure in football, you've seen that happen where you go, like, oh, this guy's going to be okay. And then that head game starts playing.
Yeah, yeah, the mental thing, and the mental part of sports is so important. And I think we get a chance to kind of reflect on that. With the Olympics going on. I know
Yeah.
we'll get later, but you know, a brief touch on the Simone Biles situation. If players aren't mentally in tune, we've got to make sure that it's not just a physical development. It's a
Right.
total package. You've got to make sure players mentally, on the right path and stable as well.
Yeah. Then changing to another sport, we're talking about the chat room, what folks are talking about. And if you're not talking about this, I don't know where you know what? I ain't gonna play like I knew about this all year. But we have something going on with the Angels, the Los Angeles Angels. Remember, they in LA now. Shohei Otani. This is one badass. You thought Shaft was a badass man? Look it up, you young people. Samuel L. Jackson, Richard Roundtree, damn good movies, both of them. But he is a badass MF, as Samuel would put it. Not only he's one of the hottest pitchers, cause he hit his 37th homer last night. He's in the ranks of doing some stuff like Sammy Sosa, and he's the damn pitcher. I think we want to just start calling his ass Babe Ruth.
Yeah, that's it. This is you know, it's shocking, I guess, because nobody thinks of pitchers as being, being a, like I said, Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, Mark McGuire type of, sluggers. That's supposed to be reserved for everyone else on the team. A pitcher, when they come up to the plate, is kind of like, all right, let's just get him through without him getting hurt and fine. But for a pitcher to be making an impact like this, on both sides, on offense
Right.
and is amazing.
No, it's beyond amazing, and because you're right, this is going to go off topic again. Topic. Why is it that when you have pitchers, because I got to imagine pitchers have been playing baseball since they were in whatever first grade. Why is it when they get to the pros, they look like they've never hit the ball before? I don't, I don't understand what they look like. That guy at the batting cage that like, okay, I'm ready. All right, next one. Are you okay? Maybe they just stand there looking like they don't even know what they do.
And it makes you wonder, like, do you guys even practice hitting at practice? Like, do you work, or do they just say, "No, you guys go pitch and don't worry about anything else"?
Right, that's right. And I'm still trying to figure out that whole conference. Pitchers pitching this one, they don't pitch in this one. I go, well, what? Well, it's just like the craziest thing. But no, let's get back to Shani Atai, dude. He is so bad. And my biggest concern is right now the LA Angels, LA Angels. I guess that's how we're gonna go with it right now. They're 51 and 51. Uh, the name I haven't heard all season is Trout. Not saying that he's not someone who can come and pick it back up, but we know in sports you can have an athlete who can have wasted years, and we know his early years, man, when he was that guy. All right, you guys did this. Now you have Otani. I I'm not saying that this could be, another waste, but man, if they don't turn it on right now, yeah, this is just going to be a wasted season, and it's just going to go into the stat books, and we'll forget about it.
Yeah, it will. And so many times you get these, these earlier mid-season storylines, that start developing. Or I guess not. It's kind of getting later now. We're starting to get towards the punchline, but if they don't do anything with it, then these storylines just kind of fade and fade away into the distance, and never really hear about them again.
No, that's it. I mean, if it wasn't Tom Brady, would we even be talking about the losses the Patriots had against the Giants? I don't even know, because who remembers the team that lost? No one ever remembers the team that lost. I had to look it up last night. I forgot when you guys were in the Super Bowl. You beat Pittsburgh. I knew you won, but it was like, who did they play again? Was it Cleveland? Was it because it really doesn't matter. What they
Hmm.
what Ricky Bobby, what did he say? Second is last.
Yeah,
Second is last. So I hope he can pulls it off. When he stands up, dude, he just looks like a stud standing there. He looks like a model. I don't care if he's Asian, white, black, good looking kid out. He's about to make a lot of money.
yeah, he is, and I wish him all the best with what he's doing. It'd be good for the game to see a lot more of this coming from pitchers. And hopefully he sets a standard, and you get more of this.
Yeah, no, and I like how you said that, setting that standard, a la Tiger Wood, where everybody back in the day when they golfed, they had a gut the size of a keg, and there's a reason they called Mickelson hefty. That just wasn't because he was carrying garbage bags by hefty out to the to the garage. He had them LBs. So hopefully it will be a standard. I look forward to seeing what he brings, and I really hope that it's something that we can see coming to the playoffs, because I think that's where the excitement is going to come in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So man, we about to get some dicey stuff, cuz I don't know. You ready? I don't does Aaron Rodgers still have your phone number? You know it don't even matter, man. You a big guy. I think you can still take him. And if you guys have not seen it, if you haven't heard it, Mr. Aaron Rodgers had his first press conference. He sat out during hell the majority of the preseason. We heard not the preseason, but the he didn't do any mini camps, and he had a lot to say on his mind. And on my side of it, I go, well, you know what, bro? I kind of get it. When you the man at work and people aren't talking to you about things that are going on, it can rub you the wrong way. Uh, we know you had the opportunity to play with both Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre, which is a magical thing in itself. You saw the transition. But were you surprised hearing what Aaron had to say?
Uh, I wasn't necessarily surprised. One of the things as players as we get older, we've been around, and I'm gonna just be blunt. We've been around the bullshit long enough. When you're younger, you're always kind of coached to say the right things. Put on that face and that mask in front of the media, in front of the fans, and just go with the flow so you don't ruffle any feathers. But people don't understand that 99% of the interviews that players do are lies. We lie. We don't up there lying our ass off just so we look good for the organization. Just so we're not being a distraction. We're not ruffling any feathers. And that's what we're taught to do. And at times, especially as players get older, and they've done great, like in Rodgers' situation. He's a great quarterback. He's done a lot. And you know, he's finally being honest about things because he's getting tired. He's getting tired of just constantly putting on the same BS interviews and saying the same things. And with that being said, I know you hear a lot of people sometimes where they say, oh, well, if your boss does this, then you just have to live with it. If your boss does that, you just have to. Well, sports is a different dynamic.
Right.
The bosses coach you, but they coach you to go do it by yourself on the field. They coach you to go win the games, with the players on the field. They're not there doing that with you. So when you're out there fighting and doing that, you want to have the proper weapons or gear, whatever. So if you're working any job, you want the proper tools to succeed in that job. You don't want to be,
Uh-oh. You're back.
yeah, you don't want to be working on power lines and not having the correct gear to do it if that's going. But with that being said, you know, the Packers, I believe, kind of owe that to him a little bit. You could at least talk to him and see what, because they're all in it together. They're all trying to win together. And this man is one of the top quarterbacks in the league, if not the top quarterback in the league. But ask him, say, Aaron, what do you feel like? This is what we feel like, but what do you feel like? How can we get over that hump? Because they're so close and they've been so close for a long time.
Right.
Obviously, they're doing counterproductive things that aren't helping them to get over that hurdle. They drafted that quarterback first round. How did that quarterback help them when they were in the championship game against Tampa or the previous? How did that help them? It didn't. Oh, it's going to help us to transition for the future. Forget the future. You trying to win now. You got a chance to win now and win multiple Super Bowls now. And for the players in the locker room, that's definitely going to be a frustration, especially for Aaron, who goes out and goes through that, and then on top of that, he gets the slap in the face with the was it the 4th and goal,
Yeah.
last year, and he's probably looking at Tom Brady honestly and seeing Tom Brady go somewhere else and win a Super Bowl and thinking that hey, maybe that's what I need to do too.
Right. Tom Brady went down to Tampa Bay like he had a grocery list of players. Like, yeah, with Antonio Brown, put a little Gronk sauce on top of that. Let's go get this one, and I'm going to be happy. And then look what happened. Hell, they won it.
And let's be honest. Do we really think that the Tampa Bay organization are the ones that wanted Antonio Brown out there? Do we
No.
really think that Tom Brady didn't have some? Tom Brady was just with him, in camp or whatever at New England the year before. I'm sure Tom Brady went in there and talked to them and said, "Hey, if we can get this guy, I think this would be a great move to help us." And they probably worked it out and talked and discussed it, and then thought that, hey, if this is something we can do, we'll make it happen, Tom. And look what it did for him.
Yeah. No, and the pressure, it wasn't on Tom, but Tom took him under his wing. He lived with Tom for a minute. And so he was like, you know what, this is my responsibility. If this thing goes awry, it's my responsibility, but I'm going to hold up all these rings here and let you know this is something that I know that I can handle because we're a team. I'm going to make him understand we're a team and we can do this thing. And guess what? He didn't give him any gruff. Now Antonio Brown is a Super Bowl champion.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
No, that's it. So I mean, we look at it and people give LeBron James gruff and they give him shit about the things that he's been doing these last 10 years, which is basically the same thing that Aaron Rodgers is asking for. Just give me some say. I will because LeBron plays that line, he plays it so well. The D acts like, oh no, 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 I ain't really got nothing to do with this say. But somehow every time, you think it's a thing, you go in Cleveland. Well, there's no one on that team except Kyrie. Yeah, but I think he's going to go after Kevin Love. Kevin Love, how they got Kevin Love? Ain't that about a bitch? He goes to L.A. He has a bad day. Like, you know what they're talking about? AD. Oh, they ain't got enough players for. They got AD. Damn.
What about J.R. Smith? J.R. Smith probably not even in the league without LeBron. LeBron was like, you know what? I want him here. Bring him in, and hey, it happened.
Yeah, no, it did. And like you said, JR is probably the same way. Where LeBron's like, he's my responsibility. Which it was funny when when JR missed that layup in the championship game against Golden State. He brought the ball out versus putting it back up. Which in any game you go, that's not a play in any game, JR. God dang it, man. Weed ain't bad, but don't smoke it right now.
Yeah,
Oh my God. That's still that look, LeBron. Bruh. No, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk. Is that something that happens at end of games where one player messes up and you guys try to hold it, but you're like, I just can't talk to him right now. I just maybe give me a day, man. Give me a day and let me drink a little bit.
yeah, it does happen at times. Sometimes you just don't want to, but especially if it's a kicker, the big field goal for you just don't want to be bothered with him for like, man. mm,
Yeah, look at you. You just seems like, I love you, Grammatica brothers. I love you out there. Don't jump off a bridge. But yeah, because what do they say? Well, God, the pet detective. You have one job. You have
Yep.
one job. Oh, that's it. So, again, like I said, you've had the pleasure to play with Brett Favre, 2004, 2007. We talked about the difference from when you were a rookie coming in and Brett Favre. It was, almost like, don't look at Jesus. Don't look at Jesus unless Jesus talks to you. Whereas with Aaron Rodgers, you can slap Aaron like, bro, you stayed in the green room till the 29th pick. Shut up talking to me.
Yeah.
Uh, for Brett Favre, did he have that communication with management that he's like, all right, let's do this? Or was that just the way that Green Bay has been?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I was just I was a young buck and didn't have a clue as to much that was going on then. Um, I would like to think that, from the things that I saw, that he probably did have a lot of say so in the things that were going on. At least to influence, because one of the differences was when Brett Favre was playing. Uh, you know, Mike Sherman, he was the head coach, but not
Mm,
only coach, but he was the general manager too. And
okay.
so, Brett and Mike would talk a lot. So Mike was, he was making all the calls, making all the decisions. And so I'm sure, there was probably, a good deal of influence from Britt, going into that because, now the head coach is the one that's, bringing in the players, evaluating the players, figuring out who stays and who goes. And yeah, so that was definitely a different dynamic for Favre than what Rodgers has in Green Bay now.
So in those years, like with Brett Favre was 2004, 2007, and I think it for Aaron Rodgers came in 2006 or five,
I think
and
he
he
five.
yeah, okay, and then he left in this down Green Bay. Hello,
Hello?
yeah, can you
Yeah,
hear me? Yeah,
yeah.
yes. So you left Green Bay in 2010. So in those two different regimes, where did you think you were going to win? Would you have put your money on winning it with Brett or winning with Aaron at any given time?
I mean, well, at first, I going to win one with Britt, especially in 2007 when when we were so close in the NFC Championship game in
I
over,
forgot about that.
and we won the toss. I thought we were going to the Super Bowl then, and so you thought that you probably would, but then soon after that, the the marriage with Brett Favre in Green Bay, ended, and Aaron, and
Yeah, yeah, that ending was some J Lo A Rod shit. it it went bad fast. Like threw the ring back there, like you keep your damn ring. I don't need your damn ring. Give my ring back, man. Give my goddamn ring back. it went, well, you just sitting on the outside going, "What the hell is happening?"
man, I used to get so irritated because, then everybody will ask you questions like like what's going on. Like, so what's Britt gonna do? Is he gonna stay? Is he gonna like? I don't fucking know. I don't. They don't call me and talk to me about what's going on. I don't got,
Like I'm just trying to stay on this team and win.
yeah, if the general manager won't listen to Aaron Rodgers, you think they care about my feelings?
Yeah, no, it's I can tell you like, man, ask ask me again, ask me again. I swear I will never pick up this damn phone again if you asked me about something. Cause I remember the first time I asked you about it, and you were kind of it actually Aaron was probably in his second year, so it was probably a fair assessment when you went Brett Favre. What are you talking about? He's still learning the playbook. But when it did happen and it was Aaron, how soon did your confidence kick in with Aaron? Was he someone who was able to take command of the huddle immediately? You're like, all right, it's a badass man too. I think we can do this.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of there was a lot of evaluation going on, during that time because, when it happened, it kind of happened in the off season,
Right.
off season. So it got to the point where the team, said we're gonna have to move on with Aaron, and so there wasn't a whole lot of time, to sit and study, you know, okay, what are we seeing? How's it gonna go? It's kind of like, we're gonna have to wait till the season starts and see how this goes. He looks like he has a lot of ability, but you know, we all know, ability, and when you get under those lights, or when that game starts, it's a total different thing. And man, he got out there and he started playing right away, and we could see right away that we weren't going to miss a step.
No, that's awesome, man. So, man, football is right around the corner. That is crazy to me how fast. It's funny in February you go like, damn man, ain't gonna be no football for football, and then it comes up. Does it feel like that for players as well? That you're like, didn't we just finish doing this? Now camp is back.
Uh,
Or did you make sure you enjoyed what you were doing while you were off?
yeah, you try to enjoy it.
Yeah.
The off season, goes by. We're still doing a lot of working out always, constantly. Sometimes you're ready. You're ready to get back to football. You're just not ready for training camp.
It, like yeah, them 2 a days will make you go like, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean
I'm
now training camps they've turned into a lot different things. I remember I used to dread going to training camp. Like you just man, it was the worst thing in the world. And after the CBA when they changed it up, I was like, hey, training camps aren't that bad anymore.
do you well, they have the new rules, new season, 17 games this year, which, good, bad, or indifferent. The owners wanted it. This is where we are. As a player in the league, would you rather have the two uh, preseason games or this one game that I guess I don't know if you get paid differently during preseason or regular season, but which side of the fence are you on with this new change?
I think they should have kept it at 16 games personally. It's already, the off season has been shortened up uh, with everything that they can do where the younger players aren't getting the development opportunities that they used to. So
Mhm.
with shortening up the preseason, now that's all you're doing is taking away, chances for these young new players to
Mm,
learn and prove themselves and develop.
wow.
A 17th game, I mean, come on now. We can figure out,
Wow.
in 16 games. Shoot, half the time, we got a lot of the teams that they're done. They're out of the playoffs by week 10 or 11. So now we got to watch another unnecessary game. Some of these teams,
You, I never even thought about that because that is so true. Hell, that's actually in majority of sports, that's usually true. I've never actually thought about that. Baseball, like we're sitting here talking about, all right, like kind of the deck is kind of what it's going to be. But baseball did the same thing and threw in that extra playoff play-in game for one game to get that extra check for the owners. Basketball. What's the old saying? I don't watch basketball till January or February. When it really counts. So. It's a money bag chase because it's a money bag chase. And like you said, I never even thought about the fact that you're cutting away opportunities for these other cats. That someone may have had, he might not have been that his motor may not have been right those first two games or whatever it is. And every time they put him in, you're like, well, damn, he's good in practice. But every time we put him in a game, he sucks. You know, and like you said, next couple topics coming up, we're going to talk about those kind of things. But yeah, no, that's really true, man. Have you? And obviously, you've seen it before, where a guy has looked bad on practice squad with you guys and gone somewhere else and had a good season or had a good career.
yeah, we we see it all the time where it's a player that when they first come in, you would look at this player and you'd be like, yeah, I don't know if this kid has a shot of ever making a team. And heck, I was one of those players. And down the line, you can't just look at somebody and know their work ethic and their heart by looking at them.
Right.
Some of these players, they were never around, the top level coaching. They were never around all the knowledge or, the facilities and the weight rooms and, all the different stuff to where once they get around that, then all of a sudden they're able to, really start developing at a high rate and it completely changes the player that they are.
Yeah. No, and that's so true. It's kind of going back to we are talking about the Detroit Pistons, the 2004 Detroit Pistons. They were I'm not going to say cast-offs, but really, those were Chauncey Billups hadn't been killing it. He had decent years in Boston. Rip Hamilton really wasn't killing it. Hell, they got rid of him in Washington for Jerry Stackhouse. And then Rashid, he was just a head case, as everybody, we knew he was good. And Ben Wallace, if you watched the documentary, or if you didn't, if you just watched about this last group of guys, because I didn't know Ben was in the 2007 draft with all those Kobe's and everybody. He had a chip on his shoulder, so he had to prove himself. So here they are, all of a sudden they get under Larry Brown, and the cohesiveness starts. And then these cats go on to be a formidable force, but for about 6 years. Unfortunately, only won one championship. Should have won three, but that's we're gonna hold that wax. So no, you're correct on that.
Yeah. So they always, and I think they need to go back to even the NFL Europe that they used to have. Having the programs like that, to just give these players the opportunity to develop, and the players that, and it's only going to benefit teams because now they're going to have better athletes to to try to pick up and look at.
Yeah, well, you went over there. You went over there and played overseas, and was that one of? Well, you always told me you had a chip on your shoulder. Once it didn't go right with that whole second round guy having to be signed, you had a chip on the shoulder. But then when you went overseas, playing with that competition, and actually, like you said, you playing with these grown ass men now. You have coaches that are NFL coaches. Was that one of those things that's like, all right, I know I can do this thing because if this made it, I know that I can do it.
Yeah, it was some of all of that. Taking some of the things that I had learned from the previous training camp with Green Bay, and being able to continue to work on them. And then more importantly, one of the things was some of the players that go over there to Europe that were allocated from some of their teams, they have been on rosters, or played for anywhere from 1 to 3 years. And so now, you're competing against, guys who've been on NFL rosters and played in NFL games, and all of a sudden you're seeing that, hey, I'm actually better than these cats. I'm actually better than a lot of these cats, and they were on teams, so why can't I do it?
Right. Yeah. No, that's it. Big change has been going on in the NFL. We know last year Dak Prescott, he went down. The Dallas Cowboys kind of looked like they were doing their thing. And I was, oh man, first of all, I hate when I see those ankle injuries. He's like, oh no, I ain't even built like that, man. I may pass out.
Yeah.
But and then Andy Dalton stepped in, and the red rifle, or some people said the red BB gun, did not do what he was supposed to do. Now he's in Chicago. The Bears picked him up, but in the same breath, they picked up Justin Fields from Ohio State. I was looking at that. I'm going, we know what this is. This is them just, giving them a quarterback for today. They're not trying to win for today, which is kind of surprising, when you have the defense that they have. But now we see, and Andy Dalton is going by that he is the starting quarterback. I don't know how long this thing work. We've seen it all the time. They did it with Justin Herbert down in San Diego recently. It didn't work with, and I can't remember the kid's name, but in DC, it did not work with him. I don't know if him going to the strip club during the playoffs had anything to do with him being cut, but it didn't work. What what do you see happening down here up there in Chicago?
I think I see the Bears being the Bears.
The
Bears,
Bears.
yeah, the Bears are being the Bears. And one thing that we know about the Bears is whoever the Bears, scouts are, man, they are the best when it comes to finding defenses, but they are the worst when it comes to finding a quarterback. They just cannot get the quarterback situation right for anything. And I think, hey, they drafted Justin Fields. Maybe they don't know if he's ready right away. So either they're bringing Dalton in just for some competition, to maybe try to motivate him, or they're just bringing it in, as a little band-aid, for a quick fix to try to get by the next year or so while Fields develops. We shall see, though. It's hard to see what's going on, but obviously, if they brought him in and you said they named him starter.
He's calling himself the starter. So, it hasn't been anything official on the papers that I've seen, but every interview that he's done, he's always claiming that, hey, I'm the starter of this team. I'm ready to take them. I'm ready to lead them. So you go like, all right, I guess they putting something in his Gatorade and he drunk, or he just really believing this.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. So, uh, yeah, I hopefully one of these days the Bears actually do find a quarterback again.
You know what? You're killing me here because you're making me do some realization on things that I'm going, I never even thought about that. And we're not hell when they won the Super Bowl in '85. It's not like McMahon was the best quarterback in the world. It just had a great defense, So
Yeah, I mean they've had. I can when we played against them, their quarterback situation was just terrible. It was always, and it would switch almost every year. The longest one they had was Jay Cutler, and we love playing against Cutler the best because Cutler. We always knew they'd be like, "Hey, you guys, don't hurt him. Don't hurt Jay."
oh, no, 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 no. Get up, man. I'm sorry. Get up. Brush him off a little bit. Like you're
Yeah.
doing good. Tap him on his helmet. You're doing good. You look at those scenarios and you don't, we've talked about it before, but there's just some teams where you just go like, oh, I ain't saying it a layup, but I want him as quarterback. And you don't need to name a lot of quarterbacks, but we know because they're not playing anymore. There's a reason that backups are backups, and you've said it before that you can literally see the difference in as far as how good the starter is versus the next man up. There you go. When the next man up coming up, you go like, oh yeah, Doug, we got confidence with you. Yeah, we ain't winning this game. Oh Lord, oh God, I'm talking so much shit. I never played a day in my life, but but it like you said, it is what it is. Uh, but here's a is what it is, and it's kind of funny that after Aaron had that glorious speech, letting his mind speak, which it's one of the top 5 athletes speech, conversation, interview, however you want to put it down there. And guess what? All of a sudden, the Green Bay Packers go out and they go back and get Randall Cobb. How amazing is that? Who saw that one coming? I don't know.
Yeah, I think. Well, we already knew that they had to bring Aaron back. They had to find a way to get it done because if Aaron would not have came back to Green Bay, and Green Bay would not have won, it would be a lot of people without jobs. A lot of people. And just from the way everything kind of has built up into this storm, with everything that's happened. So they had to do something. You still got a chance to win Super Bowls with Rodgers, and you have to try to make this happen. So I think that you know there were some concessions that needed to be made, on the Packers side, and I think that they probably had to promise him that they were going to work with him and probably talk to him on bringing in some of the guys that he wanted to come in.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, I mean, it didn't take seconds. I think and I'm sure that all of a sudden now it's like, no, Aaron, it was just miscommunication. Like, no, miscommunication is when you talk to someone. No communication is, I think, is what we just did. So we'll see what else happens here because and I know it's going back to the old conversation we had. You guys, and hell, it kind of started with you, where because we've talked, and you thought you were going to go back, and things didn't go the way you went, so you knew you like if they don't appreciate me, I'm going to go get paid and go somewhere else. People as managers, sometimes I think they overthink what they're doing, and they like, oh, he has no more gas, he wants so much more money. It's like, well, yeah, fool, I'm giving you what you need, and then they get rid of these players, and because there was a moment where Green Bay's defense it sucked. for about 3 seasons. It worked because Aaron was scored 900 points, but so I think it's a two-way street now. They're going to have to get some more players on defense as well. Well, yeah, I think so. I believe so.
Yeah, I mean, because defense was one of the issues that was, I mean, I don't know. I, Hello?
You froze up on me there. Can you hear me? Oh, the beauty of radio and podcasts. Let's see if we can get him back. There you go. There you go. So no, we're just talking about Aaron. Yeah, so getting on the defensive side of the ball, make some changes, and I think Aaron probably has about three. Well, I don't know. Let me not count on Aaron because the Aaron, what he did last year was just remarkable. Remarkable in itself. And Tom Brady, he's 94 years old, still winning Super Bowls, eating avocado ice cream. So let me not be the guy to bring him down. To bring him down. So we just had a listing of some of the top 10 quarterbacks out there. I know I sent you the list over there, the rankings, and let's look at these things. Let me get your opinion. You are the pro, you are the Super Bowl winning champ out there. We look at this thing. Sometime I believe that whoever makes these polls, whoever makes these rankings, they kind of get full of themselves because in fact no one knows the top three or four, yes, but the other ones you go, I don't know. Number 10, they have Kyler Murray. What I saw from Kyler, he definitely been a lot better than I thought he was going to be. His escapability is there. He actually has a better arm than I believe. The play that he had with DeAndre Hopkins last year, still one of the best plays ever. Just watching D Hop's hands go 3 inches higher than everyone else, but the ball had to get to him. Kyler Murray, top 10. Uh,
I mean, I think it's a case for it. Yeah. One of the things that's so interesting, in sports like this or in the NFL is that oftentimes when we make the list, the top 10 list is different for each position so drastically. So in saying that, the top 10 defensive linemen in the NFL are going to be big time, you know. But the top 10 quarterbacks, you're talking about 1/3 of all the quarterbacks that play.
right.
So it's not like we're really, isolating them into,
Whoa.
no, we're just saying, hey, which are the top 1/3 of the quarterbacks? So
right.
is the top 1/3 of the quarterbacks. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
You just did it to me again. I've never put that number to it. They're like, yeah, it's not like they going too far with this. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Out of the top 1,000 quarterbacks, these are the top 10.
And what'll really mess you up if you think about it, up until last year, only 12 teams go to the playoffs. So
right.
if you're looking at top 10 quarterbacks, all you gotta do is say, hey, which teams went to the playoffs? And it's probably your quarterback.
All right. Oh man, that's funny. Kyler Murray, 67%, 3,900 yards, 26 touchdowns. Unbelievably, only 12 interceptions, and about 7 yards per pass. Now this one kind of threw me off, but being in the division with the Las Vegas Raiders out here, I saw him put some work together. I'm that guy that goes, been Detroit Lions fan practically all of my life. So I know sometimes you just get lucky in the division you play in, a la Green Bay. Eh, you know. But Justin Herbert, Chargers, 66%, 43, 36 as far yards. And this one killed me. 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 7.29. New kid on the block, number 9. This one, I don't know because it could have just been lightning in the bottle. We got to see some more work. Do you think going in?
Yeah, I don't agree with that one at all. And if I'm not mistaken, he didn't play the whole season, right? I mean, he wasn't even started for the whole season. He came in, you know,
Right.
later on. Yeah, I just don't think that there's a body of work there, big enough body of work to label him in the top 10. Yeah, he's gonna have to show me more. I'm not saying that he can't be there, but I'm just saying that come on now, everybody can't have one good game or put up one good season and then we say throw them in and with the top names all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. No. If in fact, I was- I keep it. It's a podcast, so I can say whatever the hell I want. Yeah. That Charger scenario is when they almost killed Tyrod Taylor. So yeah, Tyrod was the starter.
If it wasn't for the doctor, he probably wouldn't even played.
Yeah, yeah, that was some bad business over there. It's like, man, talking about firing some people. My man shouldn't be on the staff at a veterinarian. So we go see how that one goes. Next one they have at number 8. At number 8, guys, they have Lamar Jackson. He's an MVP. People think that last year that he, had an off season, but get out your goddamn chair, your armchair, whatever you're doing. He was 64%, could have been a little higher, 27 yards. They're not a throwing team, so you have to always put that, into perspective that, hey, they're a running team and he's a running quarterback and they had a good damn backfield. But this is one's going to put you on. It's 26 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions coming out of Louisville. People said he wasn't accurate. He can throw. Proved them wrong. Still playing high, 7.33. I believe he is one of the top 10 quarterbacks and will be for a while because my man just puts in that work.
I agree with you on this one. He's a game changer. When you go into a game, what the defense has to prepare for, he's one of those quarterbacks that gives defensive coordinators nightmares. You go into the game, and whether it's his running, his throwing, he definitely is a quarterback that you have to make special game plans for. And he can hurt you at any moment of the game. Whether it's throwing or running.
Yeah, no, and we're talking to Big Jenks MP is the highlights. When did you play against Michael Vick?
Yes.
Okay, because I know he was on the team with you as well, right? Or yeah, so because when you see this on TV, and when you see a guy like Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick, you like, oh, they can catch. Oh, damn, he just ran no one touched him. Is it when it's in person, man? Do you just go, because I know you just got to keep going because you're like, I just can't just stop running, but I ain't no way I'm catching this one.
Yeah, you got to continue hustling, but you look you look down or you look across the field and you're just like, oh boy, I ain't no chance in heck.
Yeah, because it's so crazy, when they hit the hole in that second gear, like Tyreek Hill, it's like, stop, just grab an ankle and fall. As a defensive player, just grab your ankle and fall and just save your energy. Because I ain't trying to get hurt, coach. I ain't trying to get hurt.
One of the best things to do, and this is a little D line secret.
Uh,
If you see, especially a quarterback or running back, you're trying to get, and they're that fast, and you think you might have a little angle on them, or you don't, you dive at them. Dive at 'em. You take the chance and see what you could do. You try to maybe catch a heel or a shoelace. But what happens is after you dive, because they're gonna smoke you regardless.
right.
So if I take that chance with the dive, at least if I don't get them, I hit the ground. It takes me out of the play. I don't have to be getting smoked.
You ain't gain field conversation in the meeting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, we got to get that one to this little kid. Is that what you're teaching kids at camp, man? It's with your new team.
No, it's definitely not what I teach kids.
Oh man! And so then we go into we were just talking about him and talking about I know he's a young man, but I'm gonna still call him a kid because he still got a wispy mustache. So it's Dak Prescott. This man cannot catch a break. We know last year he did not have the season because of the injury, but they still have him at number 7. Not going to give the stats. but a career record of 42-27. That we just spoke about him when Andy Dalton came in, and Andy had been a starter in the NFL for several seasons, and but was not able to do what they thought he could do. So to me, Dak is that guy because in some sports, some guys are just winners. Russell Wilson, just a winner. It doesn't matter what they do. Hey, you put me in the game, I'm putting my heart on the line. And even more importantly, I'm going to figure out a play because in football, people always think it's about, it's like, oh my God, it's only a couple plays that make the difference in a game.
Yeah, it's I could see them putting Dak up here. Uh, I I think Lamar Jackson should have been ahead of Dak. I will say
Oh, for
that.
sure. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, Dak, I don't know what it is about the Cowboys quarterback, but unlike the Bears, where the Bears just don't ever have a quarterback, the Cowboys quarterback, they tend to have good quarterbacks, but they just never get over that hurdle of being great. It's for whatever reason it is. They'll have quarterbacks that could be good during the regular season. But they can never get over the hurdle of winning playoff games and really kind of taking a team and turning them into contenders during the postseason. So, I think that that's something that, Dak, just like Romo, had that issue as well. You know, they have to figure out a way for that. And until he does that, then, I can't see him moving up too much higher on the list than what he's at now.
No, the fact that you brought up Romo, I was going to ask you about that. Seeing the body of work that Romo did, and do you think it's if this was and not the new Buffalo Bills, but the Buffalo Bills of the past, and we know how they were. No one really gave them. Wait, nobody trying to watch Buffalo other than the Buffalo Bill Mafia. Had Romo been up in Buffalo, would we have been talking about Romo as much as he was when he was down in Dallas?
Oh, probably not. You know,
Yeah,
probably, Dallas is a unique place to play because of the excitement and the buzz around the team. America's team, and they have a lot of fans. They get a lot of TV time for their games, and
right,
Jerry wouldn't have it any other way. So,
right.
uh,
Uh,
yeah, they definitely. If he would have been at a different team like Buffalo, there wouldn't have been as much hype around him, as it was.
yeah. Well, and number six, we're not even gonna get into the controversy because, like Law and Order, we don't know what happened until, the final hit of the gavel. But, young kid still out here. He's asked for a trade, and it was before all this other stuff started. But it's kind of hard for me to see because when the team doesn't win, it's hard for me to say you're a top 10 quarterback because if you're not winning, you just stuffing stats. And we all, in basketball, we all seen stuff Stafford or staff stat stuffers. And, we look at Deshaun Watson, 70% completion rate, great. Got rid of his favorite receiver, which is even crazy that I was able to do it. 4,800 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, highest ranking as far as yardage per throw, 8.87. But you put Aaron Rodgers down there, I think he's a team changer. So is he a six?
Man, I'm gonna do something I don't normally do, and I'm gonna stay away from this one.
Okay, no, it's okay because
I was
it's
I think should have happened. I think they should have put it incomplete next to Deshaun Watson's name and just say we're not including him in in this
it's ranking.
yeah, in this ranking for now. Nothing against him. We're wait and certain things that are going on play themselves out.
Yes, they do. You say you're gonna do like Isaiah Thomas to the Bulls. You just gonna just walk past this one.
Yeah, because it's for me it's just such a weird scenario where hey,
Yeah,
we don't know what's going to go on. We don't even know if this kid is going to play again.
yeah, no, it's I, I swear, pro sports. Yeah, that's my saying. Pro sports. It's and you know who the best team that's good at what's going on with that situation? The Dallas Cowboys. Oh, we know what we're talking about. So we're gonna move on. Uh, Another one of those situations where we talked about if you give someone enough time, let them go through the bumps, let them go through the trials and tribulations, uh, put people around him who can actually play. You know, he got a wide receiver core, he got a running game behind him. At number five, we're looking at Josh Allen. Great stats up there, man. 69%, 4,500 yards, 37 touchdowns, a little higher on the interception, 10, but almost 8 yards per throw. Uh, I'm going to give it to him, yes, that he actually one of the top 10 quarterbacks. Is he going to do it again this year? Probably so, because I think the Bills are legit, especially since Tom Brady's no longer in that division. And we know that those kind of things are real when, you know, the quarterback, if Patrick Mahomes leaves the AFC with the Raiders division, hell, maybe, you know, the Raiders could actually be better. But Josh Allen, I'm keeping him there. Number five, he is a top 10.
I'm 100% with you on this one. I think what he was able to do this year and on a consistent basis too. I mean, watching him play it was amazing. It was pretty special to watch him play and the things that because at first, you know, thinking, oh, okay, yeah, here comes Buffalo, they're doing all right. Let's see how long it lasts. And you know, it was similar to watching the Utah Jazz, this year and the
Right.
season they had where Buffalo just kept putting it together and they kept and Josh Allen was at the core of it and he was extending plays, he was making great throws, and he never seemed to get rattled at any time. And I think that he's definitely an up and coming star, in the NFL, and he deserves to be in the top five.
Yeah. And then this next guy, some of you guys may have heard of him before. He played in the league for a little while. I think he has a couple rings, and that would be one Tom. Oh my God, he must be baby Jesus' son, Brady. Uh, Talk about a crazy season, but it's kind of what Tom Brady does, man. He gets in moments. We saw him beat Green Bay earlier in the season, and but then they had some hiccups. You know, brought in some other players. Gronk finally started clicking in after being out for a season. They went and got Antonio Brown, as we said earlier. And as all these players started saying, man, Tom Brady would just look at us. Fournette would say it, and he would just say, "Man, I would just look at him and I would believe. I want to run through a wall for this guy." And when you have someone like Tom Brady, you know, and these or the Aaron Rodgerses of the world, you want to do it. And hell, if unless Tom Brady is just horrible, I think he's always going to be in the top until he's done. 65%, not his best year, but you know, Tom Brady really, you know, his completion ratings, he makes the throw when it counts. And then 4,600 yards, 40 freaking touchdowns, man. How crazy is that? To only 12 interceptions, 7.6 yards. You know, I'm going to run to Michigan if you say he ain't top 10.
I'm gonna go a step further. Say I don't. I think he should just be one. Just
Right. Yeah.
is, yeah. He should be one, and then everybody else should compete for the other nine spots because Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and he's the
Yeah.
best to do it. He went to a new team and did it first year, and you know to to do that, I mean, to me, he's number one. He at this point in his career, well, he in not in any point in his career, he was never the
Yeah.
most athletic, but
No.
you know, at this point in his career, he may not have the quickest release or the strongest arm, whatever, but he still finds a way to do things that nobody else can do. And for that, that's why, to me, until, somebody else proves otherwise that he retires, we've got to put him as the top quarterback.
Well, you know, I'm going to ask you a blanket question, and I know you were like, dude, it's Tom Brady, but you saw him early on. Hell, your brother played against him in the Super Bowl, and then at that time, he was still just Tom Brady, you know, who happened to win a Super Bowl. You know, we didn't have he didn't have this label as being the goat. looking at him, what is it about Tom Brady that you think makes him this special? And again, I know that's a blanket statement, but seeing him play it against him, what do you think it is?
Well, I think his work ethic. I think that from coming into the league as a 6 round draft pick and kind of just being an underdog, from the beginning, it seems to me like he's never lost that underdog mentality, no matter how much success he's achieved. And that right there is bigger than anything else. And for people who've never been an underdog or know what it's like to have that chip on your shoulder like that, they'll never have that drive or be able to
Right.
get that extra. So I think he still, to this day, lives with that chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, because it sure ain't the money. His wife's worth 500 million. It's like you're right. Your wife has more money than you, and you have like, bro, you living a perfect life, Thomas Brady. You living a perfect life, brother. And I agree with you. And then this next guy, I it just amazes me. Russell Wilson has just been Russell Wilson since day one. He wasn't supposed to, well, if I'm not mistaken, I think was it Christian Ponder or someone else. They were supposed to be the starting quarterback, and then Russell Wilson just came in and just proved everybody wrong that he, threw for 40 touchdowns, went 12-4 in the season when they weren't supposed to even be good. And you can only go up so high, one, two, three, four, five. But until he leaves, I got to go with Russell Wilson. Another one of those guys who has escapability. He doesn't. He's not Lamar Jackson by any means, but every time you think he's caught, he's not caught, and he seems to make the play.
Yeah, Russell, he's been a good quarterback for a long time, and he's had a stellar career. Um, I wouldn't have put Russell over Tom Brady. I think Russell, could have fallen right in there at number 4. But he definitely deserves to be in the top 5. I think because he people have been writing Russell off for a while.
Every year.
He I'm not gonna lie. At times I think, oh, okay, looks like Russell's on the downside of his career, and then last season he comes back and they put together an incredible year. And I think that he just keeps surprising people and keeps on doing what people expect him not to do.
No, he does, but he's another one of those guys with a chip on his shoulder, And I'm sure if we go throughout the whole league, I was talking to someone the other day, the whole Michael Jordan getting cut in the 11th or 10th grade, and then having proven himself and bringing the guy that beat him out to the Hall of Fame speech. That's still kind of crazy, but yeah, you all have chips, and it's about that chip to make you just keep wanting to work. And I know that's just not in sports. I have chips and doing things like this that people are like, Price can't do this. What is like, oh, dog, I'm good at what I do. Don't play with me. I will continue to do this thing until I get it right. And because, you just hate people telling you that you can't do something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's it. And then the next, how crazy. So they got your boy Aaron Rodgers at number 2. I, it was it. It could have been a toss up, but they got him at number 2, 70%, 4,200. I damn near 43. Let's might as well say 43. 48 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Man, it's a badass man.
Look, so let me get this straight. Then if Rogers is number 2, then that means Mahomes has to be number 1.
Yeah.
So who did this list? State Farm? That, find out who put this list together.
Oh shit. Better double check. Yeah, double check. That is, yeah. Again, they got their 2 biggest. Only thing they could have done is have Chris Paul up in there with them.
Yeah,
What's
next year they might.
they just might, right? And
Right.
then like, but yeah, because you like they get it, at the top, it gets top heavy, and it can become coin tosses because one, Tom Brady won the Super Bowl. Like we said, like, and Tom Brady's the one with 7 rings. So you're like, all right, guys, let me see. One, one, none, 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 none. Yeah, I'm that guy. But Aaron Rodgers, he's tipping at the top. I don't know. You can't complain. I do it in basketball all the time, man. There's only so much room at the top, and they're
Yeah,
projections, and I know it's projections.
hey, yeah. To me, between Rodgers and Mahomes, that can be a toss up, every year, as to who's better. You can make arguments for either one of them.
Yeah.
And Aaron definitely, is I believe the best quarterback when it comes to ball placement and accuracy, and his release is watching. But Pat Mahomes, he also just has a extra, it factor to him where, he can, extend plays, scramble. He can be a magician at times, you know, at quarterback, and some of the stuff that he can do. And I'm not saying that, he doesn't have a good release and good accuracy. I'm just saying that, I think Aaron's is a little bit better than his. He has really good ball placement skills too, and his release and everything. But man, both of them are, you know, they're incredible quarterbacks who, they're going to keep battling. I think every year.
Well, yeah, which leads me to a question. I'm a hockey fan, so I was a player luck. That ain't luck. When they shoot at the net, they're literally shooting at the spot that they're going to. If you watch the All-Star games, and they have the net with the dishes there, and they're ping ping, and they go 4 for 4 with those shots. And I say this to say, would the average person just be amazed how accurate these top quarterbacks are?
Yeah, it's you think that it's kind of they're just throwing the ball and then the receiver's going to make a great catch, but as you mentioned with with golf, I mean, as you mentioned with hockey, golf players are the same way with the way that they can place a ball and hit a ball. Uh, Baseball, if you watch a pitcher pitch
Right.
and how they're able to curve it and put it in the right, and these people are they make the money they make because they can do some amazing things. They can do things that a lot of people don't even realize is
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, no, and that's why I say that, because, like you said, no, we think that it's just like, oh yeah, he just threw it up there, and that's where it got. Yes, Fitzpatrick, when he threw the pass last year when someone was pulling his face mask backwards, maybe a little luck, but he still knew where he was throwing it, and and that's where that whole, like you said, that twofold is, because now it's up to the receiver, like, book, I got you the ball, catch that damn thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we go to Patrick Mahomes, being number one. It's again not a big toss up. Uh first No, because they got rid of your guy's second season. They got rid of Smith the second season. They put him in there. Patrick Mahomes looked good. I went, yeah, lightning in the bottle. Came back again. And then we're like, yeah, lightning in the bottle. Went to the Super Bowl. He is the real deal. Saw a pass he threw yesterday in practice to Tariq Hill. Another one of those no look passes. Generational player. Think he's going to put numbers, that we have never seen when the time his career ends. And I know one thing we know we can't say is how many Super Bowls he's going to have. Tom Brady, an anomaly, but Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, we know, great players can go careers without it. Patrick Mahomes, multiple, is going to keep this thing going. What you thinking?
Um, I'm kind of torn in that one. I think he has a chance to win multiple Super Bowls. I think he can do it. But for some reason, whenever I think about Patrick Mahomes and how many Super Bowls he's going to get, I often think about Russell Westbrook.
Hmm.
And not Russell Westbrook.
I know
Russell,
you about Wilson. Yeah.
yeah. I have to think about Russell Wilson. And
Yeah.
it's kind of exact same, thing that's happened in their careers. Russell Wilson early on, he got there, he won a Super Bowl, he went back the next Super Bowl, he lost it.
Right.
And Pat Mahomes has done the same thing. Won one, go right back, and then lose one. And so it's going to be interesting to see if he can, bounce back from that in a different way, than Russell Westbrook. Jesus, Russell Wilson, as far as when it comes to getting to the Super Bowl again and possibly winning another one.
Right, yeah. And the thing, which that's what makes Tom Brady's situation so great, because as much credit as we want to give to Tom Brady, uh, although the Patriots didn't have the season they wanted to because one, they didn't have Tom Brady, Belichick was able to assemble some pieces around Tom Brady, be it veterans who are on their last legs and like, damn it, I still got a little gas in me. And they're like, all right, well, let's see what you got. And he's that craziest guy who lets you go probably 3 seasons too early because he doesn't want to pay you. And that's normally what happens in sports. Is it's not that the great player is not great, it's that the pieces around him aren't the pieces that he had before. Allah is going to be interesting to see what the Lakers do this year. And, same thing with Patrick Mahomes. At one point, ain't going to be enough checks up in KC to give all these guys, and things going to have to change.
Yeah, yeah, and with Brady, like you said, you get the pieces around him have changed to so much, and he's still been able to do the same things. Winning Super Bowls no matter what. We'll just have to see. Time will tell about Pat Mahomes and how he's able to handle all those moving parts.
That's it. You're listening to the highlights, MP Big Jenks. We're going to go to something that I used to love, man. We, as a family, we used to be over at Aunt Lil's house, just sitting on the couch, about 50. Well, okay, I'm going to say it was about 15. Her couch was about this big. But, and that was just something as a family that we did. People used to watch the Olympics all the time. Were you an Olympic watcher?
Oh yeah, still
Yeah.
in love.
Okay. You got to, man. It's the best athletes in the world, and when you say the world, how the hell am I still finding out about new countries in this damn world? I don't even get it. It's like, huh? I was never that continent country kid in school, but it just makes you go, man, that's beautiful. I know there were two countries that won their first gold medals ever in this last one, but that is not the one thing that I want to talk about. My biggest concern is what the hell is going on with the men's basketball team. They lost 3 exhibition games here in Vegas. They looked like garbage, and they lost to France. And Tony Parker's not even on the team, nor is Boris Diaw. And then they beat Iran, which, come on, it was Iran. It's not like Iran is running out 7-footers. It, they think they can just switch the flip. That ain't real nowadays, man. These other teams, they got ballers.
I mean, I tell you, when I watch the Olympics, sometimes you kind of feel like I'm watching swimming, and I'm like, let's go USA. You watching track, gymnastics, you get it, go USA. And watch basketball, I'd be like, I'm from Canada. I don't know what is going on with the basketball team, but it's painful to watch. Like it's
Yeah,
been painful to watch because it's not a lack of talent, and
right.
and I don't know what it is, but they've got out there, and maybe this new type of basketball that we're
You said new
playing,
type.
where it's just shoot threes all the time from any area of the court. And because if you remember back in the days, one of the reasons that we dominated basketball is because we were just out physical and everybody out there. They were dunking on everybody. They were
Yeah,
intimidating everybody.
right.
We don't intimidate people anymore. Our basketball has kind of turned more into, you know, the European styles of basketball or some of the overseas style, where a lot of it is just finesse
Yeah,
and don't have that physical presence that we used to have, and therefore other countries don't fear us like they used to.
Yeah, no, and a good case in that situation is just what happened in the NBA Finals. All of a sudden it looked like Phoenix. They were just like, "Oh yeah, we got this, we got this." They're shooting and shooting, and then they met up with Milwaukee. Milwaukee had to get, they were in a big battle, man. Big battles take something out of you when they played against the Nets, 7 games to the Nets, whereas Phoenix, they had a cakewalk, man. They just zoomed through the whole thing to get to the championship. And then all of a sudden, when Boston got their feet, and then Giannis was like, "You know what? I'm the biggest damn guy out here." And then they started imposing, like you said, their physicalness on Phoenix. That was a game changer because it wears people down.
Yeah, and they didn't have an answer for Giannis. Giannis was, he too big and too athletic, and once he started, taking over, and then got a little help from his teammates,
Yeah.
there was
Man.
nothing
How,
to.
how, how impressed were you in that game 7, knowing that one, Giannis, his short game as far as short jump shots is garbage, that his free throw shooting is garbage, and then he literally hit the first 3-pointer in the game in that game. I was just he was on a man on a mission. That was if you ever say a man on a mission, that was a man on a mission.
I want to say he made like 15 or 16 out of 17 free throws.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he was on point, and his free throw was the reason they won that game. Because if he would have shot free throws at 50% like he normally does, then they probably would have lost that game, and they would have went to Game 7.
yeah.
But he just he became a different type of beast. They call him a Greek freak for a reason, and boy, he brought out full effect that night.
Yeah, no, it was. That was so impressive. I'm sitting there, and then actually knowing that uh, Drew Holiday, he had a horrible game, and God, who's the other All Star? I see his face, but I can't think of his name. The other All Star on the team, but he had a horrible game as well. And Giannis, Giannis he went Hakeem Olajuwon and get on my back. Get on my back, and I will take you to the motherland. And he delivered. That was beautiful. It really was.
Are you talking about Middleton, the
Yeah,
other?
Middleton. Yeah, Middleton. Yeah, he couldn't hit to save his life, and normally under any other circumstances, like you say, Giannis missing a couple free throws, it would have been Game 7, which probably meant I don't know. They won 4 in a row. People they won. It was the backward sweep. They won 4 in a row, and they are the champs. So, man, congratulations to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this is the question of the day. Been pondering it. Don't know how it's transpired. But when the hell did 3-and-3 basketball become an Olympic event? And who the hell are these people playing on these teams?
you know, honestly, I was I was wondering this too, and I'm gonna take my hat off for this one. So I was watching the 3-and-3 basketball. They said they have women's 3-and-3 basketball this year.
Right.
So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, uh, maybe they're just doing what they always do and adjusting women's basketball differently than they do men's basketball. I'm
Right.
like, know why they feel the need to do this. I'm like, were they watching Ice Cube's 3-and-3 tournament or something and decide to anyway? So yesterday I saw that women's basketball was on. And so I turned it on. And then I see it's 5-on-5 basketball. And so at this point I'm wondering, I'm like, okay, is this a replay from, the Rio Olympics? And I look at the board and it says Tokyo 2020. And so now I'm wondering, like, so we have 5-on-5 basketball and we have 3-and-3 basketball going on. I don't get it either. I'm lost. Where did this 3-on-3 basketball come from, and what happened? And if you've got your best players playing in the 5-on-5, then who are the 3-on-3? I don't. If that's the case, and I kind of thought about this last night because I got a little pissed off because I was like, you know what? If they're gonna do that, then they should have put 7-on-7, passing tournaments in the Olympics for football. They could
Right.
do
Right.
7, football tournaments in the Olympics and at least get some football in there or something. But and they're adding some unique, sports to the Olympics now.
Yeah, and the fact that they call it the men's 3-on-3 Olympic team, you go, I want to be on board. Now, here is the Olympic team for the 3-on-3. All these guys that we've heard of: Robbie Hummel from Valparaiso, oh, played for Purdue; Dominique Jones from Fort Hays State University. Shout out to my man Jeff Lee, who used to play at Fort Hays back in the 80s. Joey King from the University of Minnesota. We love Joey King. And then the star of the team that we all know, and that is 31-year-old Kareem Maddox from Princeton, because all of those guys that Princeton have been putting in the league over the last 30 years, we at least had to have one of them. Who are these cats?
Man, hey, you know what, man? Hey, we need to start a petition, and we're gonna start. We're gonna get going on in the Olympics and stuff. We're gonna get we gonna get dominoes in the Olympics.
Oh,
Just give me
see,
a chance to go to the Olympics. Then let's go.
and the domino team is going to be sponsored by Hennessy. Either
by by Hennessy and KFC.
That's it.
Popeyes. We don't want KFC.
Right, one of them. Right.
Yeah.
That's it. And we got to have red solo cups if we play it too. The Hennessy has to be in a red solo cup, because who drinks, we doing this real style. We doing this real style. And and then also we're going to have some do-rags with the sponsorship name going across the
Hey,
business. Got waist tight. So, man, uh, man, we got a lot. The Olympics are still going to be going on. It's going to be interesting to see. It goes by so fast because of everything. What's your favorite sport in the Olympics? What do you really like watching?
a track. Yeah,
Okay.
track. That's for me.
Yeah.
So usually
Yeah.
start. But gymnastics is always fun to watch. It's the stuff that they can do, the composure that they have to do some of those skills, and both of my daughters were gymnasts at some point, so I got a lot of respect for the training and the amount of time and work that they have to put in. It's incredible. But
Yeah.
I'll pretty much watch anything. I ain't gonna lie. I'll be watching the water polo. I watch handball. I watch the triathlon. Anything that's I just like to see people compete. So
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Before I go into this next question with you, because you kind of hit on it, I had one of, I hate calling people clients when they become close to you, but one of my clients out here, her daughter was actually on the Olympic team. Unfortunately, she didn't qualify, but for shooting. And, that's, I like, if you don't win, but you made the Olympic team. I know your goal is to win a medal. To me, you won.
yeah,
Because you're the best in the world. Just similar to you, man. When you become the best in the world, because everybody in football doesn't win a ring, but if you played 1 year in the NFL, yeah, it's the same thing for Olympics, man. If you made it, these guys should feel good. I know all the work that they put into it, and yeah, they should feel good about themselves.
yeah, and that's a fact. That's a good point. They're the top, top of the top, and you've made it to a stage where you can just go around and compete with the best all over the globe, and that's definitely an accomplishment that they should be proud of.
Yeah, no, they really should. And if more black people won hockey, we probably win hockey more. Wait, did I say that out loud? Oh, damn, I didn't mean to say that. Oh Lord, the FCC gonna get me. But on a real note, man, sports is hard, and like you said, sports is not only hard physically, because we know you have to be in physical prowess. You gotta need to work out, you need to eat right, where a lot of guys falter. But it's a mental game, man. So in this last game, we had Miss Simone Biles, who by no means is probably the best ever, with everything she's accomplished, and she had a moment. And I think because of it's the stage that everyone's like, oh, it's the Olympics. People don't understand that these moments where I'm not at my best, you know, and especially when it's an individual sport, I'm not at my best. I can't go out there. In football, if you have a bad day, it could get covered up because you have 55 other guys around you, and or guess what? The coach is going to take your ass out because he's seeing you have a bad day. Devin Booker, well, game four, he was having a bad day for whatever it is. He couldn't hit the side of a barn, and Monty sat him down. He's like, hey, you know what? We're gonna live to play another day, and he did come out. Is Simone getting a bad rap on what she did? And I'm just gonna leave that out there for you.
No, I don't think so. Uh, I well, when I say I don't think, I don't, from me, I don't see the big deal in this. You know, this young lady has, been, one of the best of all time in what she does. Um, a lot of people who aren't involved in gymnastics or never been around it don't realize how much work that they actually put in. And out of all sports I've ever been around, gymnastics was the toughest and the most time consuming sport that I've seen out of any
Wow.
sport by far. And what they have to do and the things they have to work on, the risk that if you're not in the right stage mentally, then you're putting your health at risk. You're putting, because the skills that they perform on these, different apparatus are dangerous, and
Right.
they're dangerous. And I could see it in her during some of the qualifying, rounds when you could see it in her face after she would make mistakes that something just didn't seem right about her. You could see the looks that she was given where it looked like, at times, I couldn't tell if she was just giving a look of disgust or if she was getting ready to, break down crying or something. It was hard to tell. But, I think you know, she did an honorable thing. She stepped back and she let her teammates, go in and she said, hey, I'm struggling right now. I think I might hurt the team more than help the team. And, the teams, they stepped, replacement stepped in. They still won silver in the all around. And then they just, her teammate won the gold
Right. I was going to say that. Yeah.
round, So, I don't think that, I think that she did an unselfish thing by stepping aside and, letting her teammates, at least giving them the chance instead of trying to say, well, I'm gonna just let me keep doing this for me, and then if I mess up, well, hey, it hurts everybody, but who cares?
Yeah, no, it's I was happy to see Michael Phelps step. So many people stepped up. So let me not just say Michael Phelps, but Michael Phelps. Let's not even joke. One of the probably best swimmers ever. And he talked and he had commercials 3 or 4 years ago speaking on mental health. Promoting a mental health app, and then with the Simone Biles scenario, he talked about these people don't get that in NBA, yes, in football, yes, there is pressure out there, but these guys have the literal pressure of the world on their shoulders to
Yeah,
compete. And when you say it like that, go, huh, the world. That's that's a lot of pressure.
yeah. And when you get that good, this is an interesting point too that I think about. When you get that good to, Simone Biles or Michael Phelps level, uh, there's there's not anything new that you can do good wise. If
Okay.
you win, that's what you're expected to do. If you go and you win and no Simone Biles, if she anything less of her winning gold medal would have been a failure.
Right.
But that's what she was expected to do because she has set the bar so high that there's not, there's nothing that she could really do to surprise anyone anymore. So therefore, the pressure that's on her is just for her to just keep maintaining this level of excellence where it's like, it's not even a challenge anymore, as far as like trying to accomplish something new. You're just trying to keep doing the same thing for everybody else's, enjoyment, or whatever a lot of time. And that pressure on them gets to be a lot
Mm,
because, everybody's just kind of sitting there waiting for them to slip up, waiting to say,
right.
when they fall off.
Yeah. No, and that's true. Everybody wants to, and it's the fact that the last part that you just said in my mind, I was thinking about the fights that Floyd Mayweather takes. You know, is it, he, he obviously does it because he has a great ego, which I think most athletes, if you don't believe that you're the best in the world, why the hell you out there? But even more importantly, all he can do, it's a lose win for him. And that's like, well, yeah, it's fight. It's like, no, 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 no. If he wins, yeah, people go like, yeah, but he's supposed to win. It's Floyd Mayweather. It's like that. But then when he loses, like, oh, I told you, man. I told you his shit was wrapped up. Oh, I told you it wasn't no good anymore. So kind of like you just said with Simone.
And to break it down even more details with that, if he wins, but it's not that impressive, then people are still talking. So even with like Michael Phelps or Simone Biles, oh, they won, but they didn't look like their normal selves.
Right. Right.
These people a break, man. Hey, like,
Yeah. Yeah, no, and it's then that's the back. Then you want to go tell them, like I just said, man, go sit back in your chair, pick up your remote, enjoy the goddamn game. Just shut up and just shut up. Well, cuz man, I'm glad to be back. This is gonna be our new time. I'm hoping this is gonna work for you, but I like this time frame. It gives us a moment to set these people up. We're gonna have fun. Football season's coming back. Shoot, my favorite season's coming back. It's sports season, man. All the sports are coming back. We're gonna talk some hockey. So I'm expecting you to start learning some hockey out there, and be like, who the hell is Moros Folie? I don't know him, but you're gonna know him. I just made that name up, man. I just made that name up. We're gonna have some continued fun. Man, we went a long time today, but that's okay. It was fast, it went quick. Cuz appreciate everything that you do. You guys make sure to check us out right here on our YouTube page on the highlights as MP, that's Big Jenks. Enjoy the rest of the weekend and go check Otani out if you haven't. The man, he's a badass man. And keep watching the Olympics. It's the highlights. We'll see you next week.